All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast here, On Tour Season 4. It's been a while since I've said those words there. On Tour Season 4 playoff action coming at you. That is right, we have finally made it to the playoffs here, where the top 18, the second through ninth place teams, the other 8 teams, of course, outside of Sync Esports, are vying to compete ultimately at the World Finals here, representing the North America European region. Of course, Sync Esports, they won the regular season. They finished first place after the 8 cycles we had over the 6+ months. What a crazy 6+ months that was. Obviously, a lot of content, a lot of great matches. Ultimately, Sync Esports coming out on top in the end. The 2 through 9 seeded teams then playing in these playoffs here to determine the team joining them. Going once again to the World Finals in Bangkok, Thailand, which the dates have officially been announced of what is June 18th and June 19th. So really coming up here fast, about a month and a half away from today. So again, looking forward to seeing how we get there and what team is going to be joining Sync. But we got the next 3 weekends really to find out who is going to be that team with these playoffs. I mean, these playoffs, no doubt, this has to be some of the best time we're going to be watching in some time. I mean, with what is on the line, that trip to Thailand, chance to compete for the prize pool and the pride and everything else, it definitely is something here. So looking forward to some good Han, and we're kicking it all off here with a round of 8 matchup, of course, of what is in this case Fresh versus Druids here in this best of 3 series. So joining me here on the cast as far as this series is concerned, I'm going to be joined by Ro8 here. Ro8, how's it going, man?
Good. Really excited to be here. So excited for playoffs. It's been so long, and I'm really just ready for it.
I'm with you, man. It really has been. I mean, the Deadeye Bounty League, it was a nice tournament to have, to kind of fill the time. It lasted over 6 weeks or something like that. But at the same time, it's always like in the back of the mind, it's like, man, I can't wait for those playoffs because this is really the event. Obviously, the Deadeye Bounty League, teams kind of using that for practice and scrimmaging. And obviously, the roster situations in a lot of cases, and it's understandable with the time, the break there. But we're not at summer just yet. Summer's getting close, though. But now that we're at the playoffs, I mean, you're expecting really all these teams to give it their A effort, right? I mean, with what is on the line, this is it. This is what you've really been playing these last 6+ months for, at least as far as Han Tour is concerned. So, yeah, really excited to be here. And obviously a solid match to kick it off. Now to kind of clarify real quickly, I know I'm talking a lot here, but I want to get all this information out there. Obviously, we're covering this series in Mint versus Druids. There is another series going on at the same time, actually covered over there by Mathematical. You look at the brackets right here. It's the other match here in the top portion here of what is the winner's bracket, ultimately starting with that. Of course, Complexity versus Polymorph also happening. That is being covered once again over there by Mathematical, and I believe he has Near joining him as well as the co-caster. So you can check out his stream over there, twitch.tv/Mathematical if you'd like. Get some dual stream going on even. We can watch this one here. So the bottom portion, of course, those will be the matches we cover later on today. So that's what's happening. That's what's on the line here, and that's what's all good. So, Ro8, though, we got a draft to talk about here already. Plenty already happening as I'm going on here. So, well, let's get into this game now specifically. These 2 teams going at it. We got Magmus, Parallax, Oogie, and Behemoth Bands. Parasite into Deadlift. Midas into Voodoo Jester. Lodestone into Hellbringer. A couple of interesting picks here by Druids to really start things off especially. Well, what do you think, Ro8?
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of going for a awkward push early game kind of thing. Not really sure what. I know the Voodoo Jester is very good against Parasite and stuff like that. So, But the Hellbringer and Deadlift, I mean, they combo together to push towers very well when the Hellbringer ulti's up. So, I might be a cheese tactic, but hey, if it works, right?
Oh, I mean, this is the time to bust out these
Exactly.
quote-unquote cheese strategies, of course, and whatnot. Now, again, also to clarify, it is a double elimination tournament, so no matter who loses this series here, they are still in it. It's a 8-team double elimination brackets here, so definitely a lot of Han to come. So, yeah, after the bans, we see Monarch now coming out. Monarch really has been, this has been a top-tier support lately on the scene here.
I am amazed that hero just made it through all of that.
Yeah.
I I don't know. Like I said, I've been watching so many Thai matches lately, and that hero is just so contested among everyone. So it seems odd to me that it made it this far, but
Yeah.
it did, and here it is.
Yeah, fourth picked by Fresh. I'm sure they're happy and satisfied even that they were able to get that. I mean, you see that they still needed the support, but as far as Druid's bands went, they went with Engineer, Blitz, and Kronos even. A little bit out of left field somewhat right there. But, these teams have been doing some scrimmaging, some practicing with one another as of late, so I wouldn't be surprised. A little bit of insight there from playing against them perhaps. But, yeah, leaving that Monarch open, again, I assume Probus was like, all right, well, we'll gladly take him. So they get the Monarch. You see the Sandwraith, fourth pick now by Druids here. Another kind of hero. I don't know if it's crazy surprising necessarily, but still not usually left open all the way this late and picked as a fourth pick, but makes it there.
Yeah, and it looks like Mint needs their carry. And I mean, there's so many options on the board still. There's still Dark Lady, like Silhouette, which we know Probusk is so good at, or that champion.
There is Salamon. Salamon exists.
Still such a good hero, and combos so well with a Lodestone and a Midas. That's just, that team on paper is a team I would not want to face.
Yeah. No, really, Fresh definitely got it's one of those drafts where it feels like if there weren't any bans in this game and they just could, if this was an all-pick game,
yeah,
it wouldn't be surprised to see that lineup over there on Fresh's side. It really would not. So whenever that happens, it's always that's not looking good for the opposition. I mean, Fresh, no doubt. Now, to kind of clarify, too, this is actually the 4 versus 5 matchup, if I'm not mistaken, as far as these two teams go, as far as where they finished in the standings throughout the regular season there. So in that sense, you'd figure it's kind of even, but, I mean, no doubt, people are liking Fresh when it comes down to them having a good shot. And I think for obvious reasons that they just won the Deadeye Bounty League. There is that they're coming off of here as well. So this is a team with momentum and kind of a team that I think a lot of people are looking at complexity. A lot of people are looking at Evo Corporation. Those are the two big dogs coming into this event for good reason. Fresh is no doubt another one that really needs to be, paid attention to, I think.
Oh, definitely. And I think BMG as well.
Yeah.
I think those 4 teams are kind of the favorites to push their way through, and ironically, they're all separated.
Yeah.
And they all could meet in the semifinals. So definitely could set up to be an interesting semifinals.
Oh, man. I mean, these playoffs in general, man, it really is going to be something. Like I said, it lasts the next 3 weekends right here.
Yeah.
As far as coverage goes, and again, with what is on the line. So excited for that. So, obviously, we have a pause here. Strap pause, I'm sure, to kick it off. And Lord Self Force, by the way, was the final pick. Solid, actually, final pick there. Coming out for Druids. But that's going to be a laning Self Force, or is that going to be a laning deadlift?
I'm wondering if they're going to do a long lane deadlift Voodoo or deadlift Hellbringer. And I would assume if they do anything, it might be a long laning Voodoo Jester deadlift. Leave Sandwraith solo top, and Hellbringer goes mid and south jungles. I think that's a possibility because with the deadlift pick, one of them has to jungle, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way around that.
Oh, yeah. Somebody has to be in there, right? Unless they're running like a secondary support. I mean, secondary support Hellbringer, I guess, isn't. I mean, STST's playing Hellbringer, though. So actually.
Yeah, it's. Well, he does play mid as well.
Does he? Okay.
He did play mid. I mean, when he was on. I'm blanking on their team name, but when he did play before Druids, he did play mid.
Well, this is a team.
Suicide
Yeah, well, what were they knowing? God, I'm blanking on that.
I'm blanking on.
Dude, dang it.
What?
They've been through several team names here. Revolution. Revolution was.
Yes, that's right.
Their former names. That's right. Yeah, this was a team. This was one of these teams where, like, going into the season, we knew nothing about, and we never heard of them, and most of these players. And then as the season progressed, they kind of made more and more of a splash, specifically under Revolution again. Players. And now, Screwy was, at that time, even their captain, their carry, and he, of course, has moved on. But these other players, STST, Peksu, they've been very recognizable throughout the season there. So, and yeah, they're also coming off. They got third place, right, in the group standings. Yeah, in the Deadeye Bounty League. So, going into those brackets there. So, kind of another team that's we they're not necessarily up there. I don't think with like the top 4 that we talked about, but this is another. I mean, the potential's there with these double elimination tournaments. Anyone gets hot over these couple of weekends. Who knows? Who knows what can
They
happen?
could pull something out of the hat.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, how are they going to do this though? Hellbringer 4 minor totem. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be more of the farming side of things. Let's build here.
It's okay. Yeah, definitely the hard support Voodoo Jester. That's pretty obvious, but I feel like no, South's gonna be soloing top. They gave him pooled regen. So is it okay? They're gonna go double dual lanes. They're gonna go Sandwraith Hellbringer mid, Voodoo Deadlift bottom is what I'm gonna assume.
Okay.
I think yeah.
So how about that? Staying out of the jungle. Sure enough, they got 2 heroes with a lot of potential for it, but
okay, they're tri-laning bottom.
is Deadlift going down there too? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that's a great strategy because we know how strong Fresh is when Probusk has farm.
Of course.
If they keep him down and because South and Sandwraith can both easily solo their lanes. I mean, Sandwraith's gonna have a problem against the Midas, but he'll still get some okay farm. But South should just dominate top lane.
Yeah.
So I definitely like the decision by Druids. It's just gonna be a matter of if this bottom lane can actually kill Solomon once or twice.
I feel like we've kind of been down this road before, though.
Yeah, we have many times.
Exactly. Now, Salomon, again, he did get those nerfs fairly recently in a more recent patch, a couple, 2 or 3 patches ago, whatever it's been now. Now we've seen Salomon since then, and it kind of feels like it didn't really nerf the hero like crazy. I mean, it's still very high potential. It still will get that top farm in the game easily. That's just how the hero works, of course, but it did nerf the idea of the farming of the hero slightly. So, but my point is, going back to, we've seen teams kind of man up against elements before, ultimately to just still fail in the end. So, obviously, I'm not saying this is a bad decision by Druids, but it's by no means a guarantee that you're going to absolutely lock down the farm 100%. But we'll see how they pull it off here with this strategy.
Deadlift's kind of jungling, so
yeah. He is.
I guess he just wants a few levels then to head bottom, because, yeah, I guess they can't really kill Solomon until maybe all of them are level 2. Probably preferably level 3, so definitely a good decision.
Yeah, it's basically the pseudo trial lane in the end. It's still really the trial lane, but yeah, being in the jungle, getting the individual levels, spreading the experience is important as well. So, and of course, Hellbringer and Voodoo Jester, it's not like they're going to be in trouble against a Salomon Monarch right here, so... Monarch, she does get the early Noxious Nightcrawler, of course, throwing out some wards here. Top lane, a little bit of back and forth harassment going on, but yeah, also has that Chrysalis wanted to bring up here, and it's always fun to kind of see these Monarchs, and as popular as she is, I feel like there's not just one set build by any means. It's like every game we see maybe a difference. At the same time, though, I mean, the Chrysalis does seem like that is the favored amongst most.
It needs to be maxed. I think there could be variation other than that, but level 7, if that thing's maxed, there's no way any of your teammates will die. Because you'll have so much time to send in team support. There's just so much behind getting that hero level 7 and getting the max W.
Yeah.
So I agree, like, past that, maybe there's some, variations, but yeah, we have seen people just even avoid the Chrysalis at times. It's just...
Yeah. No, you pick up Monarch for a couple reasons, but no doubt one of the highest priorities is that very defensive support idea that he has to him, being the Chrysalis there. So, yeah, makes sense to level that up. We'll keep an eye on Bunny Lover here and what he does. We see in the jungle here, I mean, Deadlift causing issues with these illusions. Parasite, of course, is here as well. Something else we kind of really haven't mentioned too much yet, but he's so far, I mean, he's 220 gold per minute. It's not the worst start ever. And Parasite, a little bit slower usually, unless he's getting kills left and right, but... that's something else to keep in mind here as I actually look at Deadlift. He's going to go over to this camp and block any stack attempt, basically, that was happening. So, smart idea there with that Death Grip, of course. But not using the Death Grip for ganking possibility yet at the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Looks like it's more set on just farming here.
Yeah, I mean, they could. I really think they could kill the Solomon now. They're all level 3 except Voodoo, and I mean... He just got it, so... I mean, they really need to go for a kill on the Solomon. Oh, Deadlift's getting trapped over here.
is in trouble, being kind of collapsed on. Now, he does have support coming over, so I don't think they're going to be able to pick up a kill. And actually, Salamon the one in trouble all of a sudden. Nice job there with the Q of Hellbringer. And that cursed ground on Salamon, but it's only level 1, and you do see right there the crystals coming out, just a guaranteed to survive right there. Deadlift is still pretty low. Oh, that Noxious Nightcrawler just out of range, but Parasite chasing. Good job, though, once again by Hellbringer, using that Demon Strike of his, trying to keep Parasite off. Still no Bloodlust kill yet, but it still could be coming up. Deadlift somehow still alive throughout all this, but I think Pexu, time's going to run short. And Denver the Pro will pick up the Bloodlust kill right there. So, took a while, but in the end, they come through and get that Bloodlust. So, not going as planned all of a sudden now. See, this is where it gets a little awkward now for your Druids.
Yeah, they need to do some rotations. I believe that now if they keep both these heroes, or all three of these heroes down here, they're going to lose this 3v3 every time.
Yeah.
So at this point, they need to try to set up plays elsewhere. I guess they really are intended to stay down here and try to kill the Solomon, but doesn't look so likely anymore.
No, definitely not the way you want to start when you're going up, manning up against the Salamon and really trying to lock him down and farm. Now, as far as his farm goes, it's not like Proboscis is all of a sudden shooting up in farm by any means, but he's opened up a little bit. Sandwreath, he's not going bottom. Where is he going? He didn't port anywhere. Just simply, I think they had an idea. Yeah, the Death Grip hit Salamon, and he kind of went to port in, but no one was really following up, as Deadlift is actually going to get caught here in the jungle. And this time it's a much easier kill even. So, yeah, I mean, that was some miscommunication there, because that's now a Mirage on cooldown here. Usually you want to be able to get those kills with that early on in the game. Deadlift going down again, so it's just getting better and better now for Fresh, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, really well played by Fresh. They're rotating properly. I mean, really good for different guy to go down there when he did. I mean, they're playing this just right, being in this, awkward 3v2, kind of pseudo 3v3. But, I mean, they're playing it really well, and, I mean, it's showing right now.
You see Deadlift trying to get some revenge now on Monarch. Does have that support coming over. There's that Chrysalis. It's level 1 here still. So not the most reduction and enough damage to get the kill. So finally some revenge here coming out for Druids at least. I will say, I mean, kind of a lot of focus on the bottom lane for good reason. It's actually, look at Lodestone coming in. Again, Deadlift. This idea of manning up in the jungle. Now, Lodestone's actually going to fall first, so hold your horses here. It's Kentucky Derby today. Aha. Anyways, Deadlift goes down. And Parasite, he's just going to be out of range. Samurai trying to chase him. You see Salamon pops the ultimate now on top of Hellbringer. Salamon, though, I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up that kill. He actually leaps on a Voodoo Jester instead and trying to run him down. You got Parasite running in. Does he have a leech? Not even necessary. Double tap for Probusk. Okay, I mean, it looked like there were signs of hope there for Druids, but getting a double tap on Salamon in the end. Okay, not his plan there.
Yeah, when he got the kill on Deadlift, it gave him his level 6, and if that didn't happen, that could have been a completely different story. But it also could have been a little different if Lodestone had mana to ulti there, which he didn't have. So something went wrong for Fresh, and then something went right for Fresh. So.
Yeah, very right. But something I was going to bring up right before that fight, and it kind of continues, is this Self-Forest. I mean, he just bumps up to even 400 gold per minute now as he pushes that top tower in. So, there's the success so far, at least here for Druids. Now, is he going to be able to have impact is the question. It looks like he's porting bottom lane. Just got Ghost Marchers as well. So, they want to dive this. They want to kill Probusk. I mean, that's 100% the case. Look at this, though. He's going to pour it out, and they can't stop him. Yep. That was well played right there. I think Monarch did so. He's given the TP. Was that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, definitely a value trade there. I mean, Monarch for Solomon any day of the week.
Yeah.
So, Fresh just looks like they're on. I mean, it's not a huge gold or experience league, but they just look like they're really on their game right now with how they're rotating and the calls they're making.
No doubt, again, a team that's hungry to qualify for those World Finals. Really, every team you'd think would be, but one of these favorites going into it. But, as you kind of pointed out there, you do see the overall goal. Can't get too excited about Mint because, well, Druids is ahead. I mean, 1,200 gold lead after that bottom tower push right there. So, usually, especially when you have a Salamon, I mean, and I know it's still very early on. They ideally kind of locked him down, but you want to be, fairly ahead as far as the other team goes in that overall gold. So, yeah, there is positive for Druids. And they're going to be rotating here. I mean, when it comes to these team fights and a lot of grouping up earlier on, it's definitely a strength that they do have.
Yeah, I would really like to see an Astrolabe on both teams.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit weaker for the Legion side because really the only one that can get it is a Parasite. That's ideally not what you want, but these early team fights are going to happen. Like, there's no way around it at this point. And getting, like, those early team fight items will make a huge... Oh, Voodoo Jester getting caught.
Yeah, now they did use quite a bit right there to kill him. Here goes the Shatterstorm activation. The Chrysalis, he's so tanky. Got a little life he has, and he's surviving through it all. The Shatterstorm goes off. He finally will die to the Undying right there, but at least getting some damage out and some armor reduction on top of that. Lord Salfor is also going to fall, and it's a double tap for Probus yet again. So another case of it. It might have been turning for Druids, but Fresh still comes through, and that Lodestone there. Man, that was something. The Chrysalis and the Shatterstorm. They weren't able to kill him.
Yeah, he's just so tanky. And I mean, that's what I think that was level 2 at the time, maybe even level 1 in all honesty. It might have been level 2 actually, but even then, it's just he cannot die, and he's guaranteed to get his ulti off. It's a really good combo together.
As long as he doesn't need to necessarily move a whole lot, of course, and in that case, he really didn't. I mean, that fight was really just happening around him, so that Shatterstorm I hit good 3 heroes, I want to say at least, so
yeah,
obviously successful for them in the end there. And again, another double tap for Probosc, and all of a sudden the Salamon, this goes back to, it's like, manning up, tri-lane against the Salamon. On paper it seems great, yet here he is 5-0-0, 480 gold per minute. What the hell happened?
And in a lot of ways, it's not even Solomon, because I've seen him do this on other carries as well. It's just Probusc as a player.
Yeah.
He's so used to, I guess, getting shut down like this, and he just always ends up pulling back some way or somehow. He'll get a kill here or there, just start farming, and all of a sudden he's higher GPM than anyone is even close. So, yeah. Sure, it's Solomon in this, stage, but I think on any hero he would have recovered the same way.
Well, he's also got that Mock of Brilliance just around the corner now. It's still the go-to item build, of course, even after the nerf to the Mock of Brilliance. Now being back to magic damage here, but still a excellent farming tool, and overall just a great item to have. So, yeah, going to be coming out here. Different kind Midas, 1420 gold saved up, so getting that portal key coming along nicely here. You do see Parasite, by the way. He does get the refreshing ornament. So, yeah, there's that Astrolabe you're talking about.
Okay,
there.
That's what I like to see. I mean, yes, it's going to hurt his puzzle timing a lot, but they know these fights are just going to keep happening, and they just need to get these early team fight items.
So if you're the Hellborn team, as possible fight breaking out right here, they're trying to push this middle tower vulnerability. Lord Salforce sticking around. He's in a lot of trouble, though. The tower's even denied on top. Then Lord Salforce, he's probably going to fall to the side. And now Voodoo Jester, there's no getting away for him. Salamon will end up cutting through him to finish him off. So they really wanted that tower kill, but clearly Fresh was on top of ready to respond here. And they hold, and they get positives out of it.
So much went wrong there for Druids. Getting the tower getting denied, losing 2 players, and Solomon getting more kills, having a mock at a normal time. It's, there's, at this point, Hellborn just kind of needs to dodge. They need to dodge. They need to do something. They need to get some farm on someone, because now they're just really far behind.
I think Sandwraith is, of course, the obvious here as far as really trying. That's something they really haven't been prioritizing. Ula, as it's easier to call him, of course. He's on the Sandwraith here, and usually known for getting a lot of good farm. It's similar to Probusc in that sense, but this guy, I mean, he is 300 gold per minute. He's 1-0-1, so he hasn't been dying necessarily. But really trying to open up his farm is, I think, going to be a big key here as Voodoo Jester. This gets caught being extra curious over here. Sandwraith did port in, by the way, but they can't stop Monarch. Goes in that crit. That's the other thing, too. Again, you can outcast abilities in that crit. I say now, but for a while you weren't able to. Ever since the rework, though, that's kind of one of the benefits here. And able to TP out.
Bottom lane. Okay, he's dead this time.
They're going to finally kill Salamon. Oh, man. It actually happened. So that's a nice streak stopper, too. It looks like Hellbringer getting the bonus there.
Yeah, that needed to happen. They needed some sort of momentum going in their favor. And I mean, Sal's still doing well. it's going to be a lot on what item he's decided to go. With these early team fights, I mean, maybe... Oh, and top lane.
Good kill on Ula. That's his first death. Just talking about how he hasn't died yet, and unfortunately happens right there.
Yeah, it's going to slow him down a lot, too. But yeah, as I was going to say, it's going to be a lot on what Self goes. I think he just bought something. Not sure what it was. Might be a tablet.
On South Forest, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
We delivered out right here.
I was going to say even Storm Spirit would be nice, too, but I'm going to assume that... Oh, it's a Helm.
Helm. Interesting.
Well, I said early game fighting items, and that is an early game fighting item. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to be tanky. He's going to be pretty hard to kill. He'll be a good frontliner, so I like it. I would have liked to see maybe an Astro on him. He kind of would have done the same thing, except helped everyone, but, you know, we'll see.
I will say, this is something in the Deadeye Bounty League that Slapped is actually doing a little bit. I want to say at least a couple of games, kind of changing up his build even somewhat. So, yeah, the Helm of the Black Legion getting at there the idea that it's more of that early game tool, really encouraging the idea of having fights happening earlier on in the game. But it's kind of a give and take for me, because is that necessarily where Druids is continuing to be at? I don't know. I mean, here we are kind of talking about maybe they need to kind of play more of the passive game, get that farm on Sandwraith, get the Mock of Brilliance, and then try to make plays after that. But it really is a tough spot, because you do that, then you really open up even more for Salamon, and he just continues to just jet off and take off here. So, yeah, really finding themselves in that hard spot now that because of how this really early laning phase has gone here for Druid. So, they are getting the Astrolabe on Deadlift at least, so they will have that. It looks like here.
That's good.
But can Sandwraith afford to go the Mock this game, you think?
No, but I think he has to. I think it's kind of one of the... It's like 2 Portal Key heroes on the Legion side. He can't, but he has to, I think is the best way to say it. Like, it's so hard to not go Mock on Sandwraith.
Yeah.
Because it's so impactful on the game. So he's just going to have to force it and kind of struggle through it, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see what that decision comes to here for Ula, but no doubt, again, it kind of that double-edged sword. It's damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So, unfortunately, that's several times that's happened now. This Parasite Lodestone combo, they really are just going around setting up kills here in favor of mid. That's what you like to see, of course.
Yep.
You're fresh in this case.
Yeah, and it's almost like, in all honesty, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I mean, if Sandwraith dies again, there's not going to be much hope in this game anymore.
Yeah.
It's just they're falling so far behind. Solomon's going to have a Shrunken any second now. They're going to lose their teamfight presence, and probably like 5-6 minutes when Deadlift becomes, you know, almost useless. They kind of lost their timing to have this really good early game.
Yeah, Deadlift definitely didn't really feel in place for most of the laning phase, obviously getting killed several times didn't help, but really weren't able to use a death grip as much as they like to, and if you're not going to do that, at least maybe pushing with that onslaught, and then with Deadlift as a hero, they haven't really been able to accomplish, so it's just a lot of these mixed things that haven't been able to do that they really need to be doing, one or the other, and just hasn't been working out. But obviously that's where you got to give a lot of credit to Fresh. They've played this very well. They adapted early on in the laning phase there, and Monarch especially, did a good job of staying alive and helping to set up some turn kills a lot in that bottom lane down there. So Parasite really is just going to continue this support aura style build. He actually goes the Abyssal Skull even to go with that Astrolabe here. So hey, it seems like that's been working. Doesn't necessarily need the puzzle box. There's the downside to the puzzle box, to be fair, with the Deadlift. So maybe that's kind of the logic too.
Yeah.
And he's working.
And just the aura build is never wrong on Parasite,
yeah.
So he will be tanky and he will be hard to deal with, and it's top lane.
They're trying to find them. Salamon, he's just running into them as if he doesn't even care. It's almost like something isn't right here. He does have a shrunken head. Now there goes the Undying though. Look at that leap on Lord South Forest. That was max range right there. And South Forest eventually going to fall most likely. Hellbringer with the Malphus coming out though. Sandwraith threw out there with all the illusions, but South Forest and Deadlift are dead. They did get Lodestone, it looks like, off to the side. And Hellbringer, though, he gets caught. Hellbringer's going to fall as well. That acid cocktail may save some lives here. As now Mid's actually going to need to get back. I believe there were buybacks here. Yeah, it looks like Lord Sal4 is using a buyback. Salomon, though, TP's out. And the rest, ideally, are going to be able to run on out of here. Oh, Monarch right in front of them. Well, they get out in the end. So, obviously, desperation kind of kicking in now for Druids here. Trying to make some plays, but unfortunately coming up short there. So, using an early buyback for nothing. That's the case of that.
And in all honesty, that wasn't the worst fight for Druids, because Solomon kind of got caught and couldn't, like, he only had, you know, one target to jump on, and then after that there was nothing. So it really wasn't the worst fight for them. It's just they're so far behind they can't capitalize on these plays.
Solomon, by the way, interesting by Probusca right here, going the Shrunken after the Mock of Brilliance. Usually we're just so used to seeing that Restoration Stone, you know, as soon as possible, but I use the Shrunken Head here, and the idea that a fight's going to be happening sooner than later, and, well, they did. They kind of forced it, if anything. So I assume we're going to see Reststone next, though, as he does have a life dupe here.
Yeah, definitely.
Make into it.
Do like I almost said shamans, the Shrunken Head call, because they're just fighting. That's all it is, just constant, non-stop fighting, and he can't really die with a Shrunken Head. So I definitely like the decision, but they're going to try to force again top lane. And that's the right call because they have no ulti on Solomon.
Voodoo Jester goes down. Deadlift will be able to use his Resurrect ability at least and bring Voodoo Jester back up right here. But obviously a kill still successful for Lodestone. The top tower going down. Look at Parasite just jumping in. He's like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and kill you again. Takes out Voodoo Jester right there. Hellbringer goes down. Salomon in the midst of this now. He doesn't have his ultimate, but it's just not mattering. I mean, Lodestone even joins the party late. Down goes Self-Force. Nobody dead here for Mint yet, and I don't think that's going to be happening. It's going to be a cleanup in favor of Fresh, and that's one of these fights where you wonder if Druids is going to hang in there, and it doesn't look like it. GG, well played. Game 1. Pretty dominating fashion here. Going to go in favor of Fresh here in the round of 8. So it is a best of 3, of course, but obviously Fresh feeling pretty good after that first game right there. And again, not necessarily that that's a surprise, but yeah, Druids, they took a little bit of a chance kind of going something, trying to man up there. It just didn't work, and it kind of fell apart, right? It's, well, what else is there to really analyze there?
Yeah, it was a one-sided affair, and time for the next game.
That's pretty much it right there. So obviously game number 2 going to be coming up right here. Let's take a poke at the other series, see if I assume they're probably still in their first game. Even it looks like, you know, a little bit later of a start, but Complexity versus Polymorph, the other series going on. And so far, it's still early on, 13.5 minutes in, but Polymorph giving Complexity quite a battle right there. So, again, Complexity, they're technically the number 1 seed here in this tournament, going up against Polymorph, who's the number 8 seed. So, that would be quite the upset. It's still way early on, though, to determine anything, but that would be something if Hex is able to kind of make a play there. But that's being covered by Mathematic over there and Near as well, so if you want to check that out. Again, keep an eye on that one, though. And, of course, worst case, we can jump into it if this one finishes early. All right. Anyways, we got a break coming up, though. Setting up for game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Obviously, looking forward to a game 2 here now of Fresh versus Druids here for the Han 2.